This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
Becky Lynch is going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
Welcome to the WWE Podcast. It is Tuesday, December 23rd. As we go through Monday Night Raw here, should be an abbreviated version as Christmas is certainly taking over my tasks in life, and I'm sure yours as well, and I hope all of you have a very Merry Christmas, and it's not too stressful, and we're here, right? Those of you that are parents, we made it. We made it. And I hope it is an enjoyable one for you and your family. Now, we've got a lot to talk about with Monday Night Raw, despite this likely being an abbreviated version. This past Raw wasn't particularly exciting, I have to say. It wasn't a jaw-dropping episode of Raw. Very much in line with the end-of-the-year shows for wrestling, which, as I talked about over the last several weeks, are very ho-hum, usually. Things really kick off in a big way on the first Raw in January, which is clearly the case this year. There's a championship match that could, but unlikely, result in a new world champion with Braun Breaker taking on CM Punk. It's the debut episode of Raw on Netflix, the 1-year anniversary of Raw going to Netflix. So there's a lot that they're going to try to dump on that episode of Raw. On top of it being in New York City, you know they always put their best foot forward in the big markets as well. So not only is there a championship match, there's going to be surprises, likely returns, maybe even a Brock Lesnar appearance, a real solid build towards the Royal Rumble that'll be in full swing at that point. So if we can hang in there for one more episode of Raw, then we'll be off and running for the Royal Rumble. Now, one more thing, if you guys want to go ad-free, and the best place to do that is Patreon, patreon.com/WWE Podcast. No better place than that. So let's talk about Monday Night Raw. We'll just start at the top of the show, and it started with a recap of last week's Logan Paul Rey Mysterio main event that saw interference by Austin Theory, and Paul Heyman told Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed to get out of the cold. Heyman told him that he had this. Heyman approached Austin Theory, who was standing by, and asked him what the hell he was doing. Theory said he wanted people to feel his actions before he revealed himself, and he said he got comfortable and made some bad decisions and got hurt. Theory said he saw the vision, and they don't wait for anything, they take, which is what he's going to do now, and said he knew the vision had a match, that he'd love to help out, and Paul Heyman just said, interesting, and that was it. So Theory didn't have a ton to say other than just he wants to be a part of the group. He likes their style. Essentially it. It doesn't seem at this moment that there's a strategic reason why he attacked the people he did. You know, I had been thinking that maybe there is a reason why Rey Mysterio was attacked and why Seth Rollins, or rather why CM Punk was attacked at Survivor Series. It just seems he's just trying to get in the good graces of the group and join. Seems like that's the deal. Not a big reaction for Theory, but there shouldn't be an expectation of a big reaction for Theory. He hasn't really done much. Yes, he's the essential and kind of anticipated new member of the Vision, but he's not exactly and hasn't been exactly a big star over the last several years. So not a big shock there, but I'm still on board for it. I'm not sure how you guys are feeling about it. Yes, we're only a week in, and we got a match later in the night with Rey Mysterio and Austin Theory. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So either way, still intriguing and a decent start to Raw. And we then had Rhea Ripley and Asuka one-on-one. The match went 11 minutes with Asuka beating Rhea Ripley. Now, the finish, as expected, did not have Rhea Ripley lose clean because Io Sky comes out with tape on her back, and after she was attacked, and she Sky climbed onto the apron, spoke to the ref. That's when Kairi tripped Sky, who landed hard on the apron and sold her back pain. And when Rhea went to check on Sky, that's when Asuka rolled up Ripley and got the 1, 2, 3. So Rhea Ripley loses. Not a big deal. Ripley can take a loss, especially a loss like that. And Asuka and her team need a little bit of momentum, I think. Get a little heat. Really kind of basic psychology here. So the match was good. I mean, Ripley and Asuka could go 20 minutes. They have a lot of experience together. These are two veterans. You know that this match quality is not going to ever be in question, and it wasn't here. But it wasn't about really Ripley losing so much as it was trying to give Asuka a little bit more heat, and I think mission accomplished. All right. We then have, let's see here, some backstage stuff. Dupree was shown walking backstage. Cole set up footage for Gunther's promo from last week, and Cole also hyped WWE Unreal Season 2 that's premiering on January 20th. Yeah, I don't have any interest in that. And one other thing, if you guys heard me on my last show that I did for the Week in Review, I really was not particularly excited with some of the things John Cena said on Cody Rhodes' podcast, and it continues, really, with John Cena, a couple of things here saying that he knows that the fans want the curtain pulled back more. He knows that there's a need for that, or the fans are asking for that. What fans are asking for that? And also, what curtain is left to pull back? I mean, I don't think the demand is coming from fans. The fans want the magic, and you can't have the magic if the curtain is constantly pulled back all the time. Cena even alluded to the fact that he talks a lot during the match, and they may end up putting in the mic work during the matches in Unreal. Did that make sense? I hope maybe I didn't say that right. So as you know, the wrestlers talk during the match to call the match. Not every spot, but most matches have bigger spots that are talked through during the match and ad-lib moments. And they're thinking of, it seems like, putting the mic, the audio from the guys who are in the ring calling the matches, that mic work into the Unreal show, which I think is just horrific. I don't need to hear that. Well, why are we trying to take away the magic? Even if I was WWE, and I don't believe this is truly an organic need from fans, I really don't. There has, to me, I'm a fan, and I haven't heard a lot of like, oh man, I wish I knew how this whole thing worked. No, I think truly that it's TKO moving away from pro wrestling, which Vince already did decades ago, from traditional pro wrestling, I should say, and really distancing themselves from Vince, from pro wrestling, and just straight entertainment. That's, which again, pro wrestling is entertainment, but the idea that they're anywhere near Vince or anything near what he did, or that they're a wrestling company, they're trying to move away from that. So they're trying to, I think they are just simply trying to manufacture a need from fans, which doesn't exist, to give them an inside look at the business on an even deeper level that no one asked for. If that makes sense, maybe it doesn't. The second thing that John Cena said, and I should have just pulled up the audio, but I'm just honestly too lazy because I'm tired as hell, is John Cena, and this is about an hour and 20 minutes into the interview with Cody Rhodes, I will say I would never, and I'm being genuine when I say this, because people say, oh, no, you wouldn't, you're such a, no. If John Cena called me right now, he's like, hey man, I really want you in my circle. I want you to be one of my friends in my circle, I would turn him down. I know that sounds insane, because John Cena seems like a likable guy in the ring, very personable, until, of course, you hear him speak in an interview where he's all buttoned up, and Cody Rhodes, Mr. Pocket Watch, is sitting there, and they are, I mean, I don't find them relatable at all, especially John Cena, because if you listen to that interview and you go through the whole thing, he's talking about this little circle of friends that he has, where when they get together, he goes, I'll talk about the weather and sports for a hot minute, but I just really want to learn. And I really should have pulled up the audio. It's really unbelievable. It's the most unappealing club that I'd ever want to be a part of. You couldn't design a worse description for me to be convinced to join this inner group, this club, this in crowd. I don't give a damn what it is. And he's saying how when they get together, he's like, I want to learn. I want to listen. It's a lost art. And how they get together and everyone goes around the table when they're at dinner, I guess. And everyone has to say something that, they learned. And if you're new to the group, you just say cheers. And, but you listen to, if there's 18 people, you listen to 17 stories. And it's like, are you effing kidding? I'm not joking when I say this. I don't mean to turn this into a John Cena rant, but the more I learn about John Cena and his off-camera life, he disinterests me on a very deep level. In ring, yeah, sure, whatever, great, and one of the greatest of all time. Outside the ring, this guy sounds like a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. He is. I mean, you talk about controlling and just very much. It seems like everything has to. It seems like he can't ever relax, or at least he puts on a front that he can't ever relax. Could you imagine being at a group? Imagine your circle of friends, whoever they may be, right? Everyone has, and seemingly as we get older, our friend circle shrinks because we're all busy and we're like, oh, well, we'll see you. Maybe we should make plans, and no one ever makes plans. But imagine your circle of friends, and they're like, hey, guys, let's get together tonight, and whatever you normally do, you go out and do. So say it's going out to dinner, right? And then at the dinner table, everyone's saying, you know what, guys, let's all raise our glasses and everyone go around the table and talk about something that you've learned in your life that has deep meaning to you. I would seriously say, F this piece. I'm out. I don't even know if I'd say anything. I would just get the hell out of there. It sounds like an absolute, just unequivocal. It is my personal hell. I mean, I'm not even kidding when I say go listen to the interview. So I'll stop there. And as I listen to this more and more, it's really just eye-opening into who John Cena is. I know he's very calculated. His corporate responses are now just built into his brain in terms of how he responds to things. So it's corporate speak on top of nightmare. And I'm not saying everything. He doesn't seem like an actual bad person. But I have to say too, his response to, why don't you want kids, which someone asked him. It wasn't during the Cody interview. At least I didn't hear it in the video I've watched. But in one of the pre-shows or something he was doing, one of the Q&As with fans directly about a month or two ago, someone outright asked him, hey, why don't you want kids, or do you ever want kids? And John Cena essentially said, well, from what I understand, kids need to be looked after, right? Meaning they take time. And he, in a very, very, you want to hear someone talk about in a corporate way to say, I just don't want to prioritize my time for anyone else but me. That's essentially what he said. It is about a 10-minute answer to say exactly what I just said. I don't want my time to be prioritized for anyone else but me and my projects and my wants. I know he did obviously not say it that way, but he said it in that way, sanitized in corporate speak. And look, not everybody needs to desire children or have children. Some people can't have children, but it usually is a biological desire built into our brains. Men and women. I mean, that's how we survive as a species. I mean, if we didn't have that desire built in, we would go extinct fairly quick. Within about 100 years, we'd all be gone and with no trace of us left, except bones and a few buildings that would crumble in about a few hundred years. So it's built in. But for John Cena, he may have that desire, but he pushes it aside for his own desires in life. And hey, to each his own. Obviously, you don't have to do anything in life when it comes to children. You don't have to have kids, obviously. but it kind of is. It's a window into John Cena himself for all the selfless things he says he wants to do and give back. And is there anything less selfish though than dedicating part of your life to raising another human being and also trying to carry your legacy forward? Having a bloodline that could come after you and talk about how dad was one of the greatest of all time and have that, share that legacy and those stories with someone that you helped create. I mean, hey, I know that I'm not trying to dive into traditional male and female roles and all that kind of stuff, which you can probably guess where I land on that. But I'm just talking about John Cena himself. The more I learn about him, and we're going to continue to learn more, because I think he's going to do a little bit of the Undertaker type of road and do more interviews and more stories, which is going to be fun. But hearing him speak, he needs to just break out of this and speak like a human being and not this robotic corporate cutout. That's what he is. And yeah, I mean, again, I have respect for him inside the ring, but I can't stand to listen to him. He says a whole lot of nothing in 20 minutes, and you have to really dig out what a normal speaking person would say and just you put it through a filter like, oh, yeah, okay, that's what he's saying. But he says big words, and he elaborates on things that don't need to be elaborated on to try to mask the real message that he's delivering. That's what he does. He's a master at it, and people are fooled by it. I'm not saying I'm smarter than anybody else, but I've seen enough corporate speak over my years, not just in watching wrestling and but really in my own personal life and my own job outside of this, right? I've seen it. We all can feel it. It's just like something ain't right. So that's tangent number 1 for the night. I've got another one coming. Don't worry. I've got another one coming. But let's continue back to Monday Night Raw. We had Becky Lynch come out, and she's claimed to be the real Women's Intercontinental Champion, and said she's tired of the facade and spoke of having powerful lawyers. And Maxine Dupree comes out, and she conceded that Lynch is the greatest of all time while she's just a rookie, but she reminded her that the rookie beat the greatest of all time. And she said she's not just the fans' IC champ, she's Lynch's IC champ. And she said she wanted to hear Lynch concede that. Dupree said Lynch didn't like the greatest of all time. She looked like someone who's afraid of her best years being behind her. That's when Lynch snapped, and Lynch threw some punches, and Lynch took the title belt, held it over the apron. She returned to continue to attack, but Dupree took her down and put her in an ankle lock, which eventually led to having Becky Lynch tap, obviously not a match, but in a symbolic kind of like, oh, if the title was on the line here, she would have retained the belt here. But it's fine. And you know what? We have the announcers backing Dupree, talking about having her put in the work, which is true. We all know that Maxine has put in the work. She's shown a lot of improvement. The fans are behind her. She's a feel-good story. Becky Lynch is playing her role very well. I've enjoyed this version of Becky more than her previous heel runs, certainly more than her last one, which was just obnoxious. This one feels more organic. It's not like she's changing her, the substance of her character. She's just being a whiny, sore loser and adding her own spin to it. And she's doing, I think, well. And I think this rivalry will continue. I don't think Becky Lynch will regain the Intercontinental title. Maxine likely is going to continue with it. I doubt she'll make it to WrestleMania. Probably will lose it early in 2021. Or I'm sorry, 2021. My God, where the hell am I? In 2026. She'll certainly lose it, I think, there. Maybe at the Rumble or shortly after. And it'll be some kind of multi-woman match for the Intercontinental title heading into WrestleMania. But it's a fun story for Dupree. I'm curious to see how far this wave will take her. She has done much better, as we all know, over the last several months. Okay, we have then Javon Evans versus Rayo, and El Grande Americano and Bravo are with him. The match went 6 minutes and 50 seconds with Javon Evans beating Rayo. in a fun match, despite the fact that it's 6 minutes and 50 seconds. I think they used their time wisely. The finish had Rayo catching Evans with a step up enziguri. Evans came right back with a twisting kick that Rayo appeared to duck away from, but still led to a 2 count. Evans went for a springboard move and was caught by a Rayo punch, and then Evans avoided Rayo's move from the ropes and then hit him with the OG cutter to get the victory. And after the match, El Grande Americano and Bravo tried to go after Evans, who escaped. Good match. Good match. I am kind of over the Grande Americano stuff. That was fun while it lasted, but it's over. They're continuing it, and it's fine. It's something for them to do with Ludwig Kaiser and whoever else wants to be behind the mask to get a paycheck that night. But I think this is really about Javon Evans, who is where this dude, he defies gravity. The things he can do, Javon Evans is, to say athlete is an insult to him. I think he's on another level, man. He imagine this matchup. Ready? Logan Paul versus Javon Evans. A 20-minute match. Or how about a 30-minute Iron Man match with Javon Evans versus Logan Paul? Now we're nowhere near that. We got a lot of steps to go. They're not even in the right roles. Both are, in different kind of places in their careers. But just from an athletic standpoint, you talk about the future of the company here, a potential future, 2 of the most athletic guys that the company has right now. That's something that I know that most people aren't thinking about Javon Evans as a main eventer, but he easily could be. Obafemi obviously is taking front and center into, man, that'd be fun when he comes to the main roster. But Javon Evans, don't overlook him. I think he could be a sneaky type of main eventer that kind of creeps in over the next year or so. So Montez Ford better make a move. I'm thinking of these athletic guys that it's just like, what are they doing? Montez Ford, man, we've been talking about that for years. He better make his move. WWE better make his move to see what he's got, because Javon Evans, I think, is like a newer model of Montez Ford. More muscular. I think, dare I say, even more athletic than Montez Ford. That's a hell of a high bar. All right, I'm going off. So let's continue. We have, let's see, a Braun Breaker video promo air. Breaker mocked Punk's line about being in WWE to make money. He told him he hoped he saved his money because Punk wouldn't be worth $1 once he takes the world championship from him on January 5th. And then Nikki Bella appeared at ringside, interrupting Cole. Now, before I get to Nikki Bella, are they ever going to have a Braun Breaker CM Punk face-to-face? Do they dare do that? Since their promos have been their singular promos that they're cutting on each other, do they put them face-to-face, or are they afraid that CM Punk's going to slice up Braun Breaker and make him look bad? I'm thinking it's the former or the latter here, because they have a lot of faith in Braun Breaker moving forward, but he's not as good as CM Punk on the mic. CM Punk is, as we all know, a Jedi on the mic. That's where his money has been made, is on the mic. So, also, speaking of people that are great on the mic, welcome back to MJF a week ago. My God, I can't wait till he comes to WWE. Please. I want him in WWE. I know a lot of AEW fans are like, hey, no, he's our guy. He's one of the pillars. Well, MJF was out for an extended period of time, and you learn how to live without him. So we'll take him. I would be very happy to take him. Whatever the dollars are, pay him to come to WWE. Nikki Bella did appear at ringside, interrupting Cole and Graves as they were talking at their desk, and Nikki said she's the most famous person, or the most famous person just arrived. She climbed onto the broadcast table, got into cheap heat by taunting the crowd and Detroit Lions, and some pro Ohio State line stuff. But Nikki told the fans not to forget she's a legend before dropping off the table, and that was that. She acted like she was the biggest star. She's a legend. Of course, it's all ridiculous. She may have some name value, but having name value doesn't make you a legend. Just makes you recognizable to an average person. I still don't believe that if you went up to a non-wrestling fan and said, do you know Nikki Bella? They probably would still go, who? Yeah, they might have said, name sounds familiar, but I can't put a face with it. I think that'd be most of the responses. So Nikki Bella, does she really believe she's a legend? Probably. Probably. She probably believes her own hype that she's actually a trailblazer. I've gone over that a million times. But to her credit, I think this is a bounce back promo. It's a nice, concise heel promo. She changed her outfit, going to traditional evil black. It's good. It was good. I'll just leave it at that. For all the crap I give Nikki, it was just good. It was good. And what it needed. Her cadence in delivering promos still isn't the greatest, but it's fine. It did what it needed to do. So then we have Bayley take on Roxanne Perez. Liv Morgan's at ringside, as well as Lyra Valkyria. The match only went 7 minutes and 40 seconds, which I was hoping for more, but at least we got a singles match with Bayley in it, which is nice. Roxanne as well. But the match went as follows as far as the finish goes. Rodriguez shows up at ringside. Morgan distracts the referee while Perez removed a turnbuckle pad and Bayley's head ran into it. And then Perez made the cover, but Rodriguez stood on the apron and argued with the ref until Morgan pulled her down. Perez and Morgan confronted Rodriguez until Lyra dove from the broadcast table onto Morgan and Rodriguez. That's when Bayley hulked up by having Lyra slap her in the face. That's when Bayley smiled and hulked up, and then she attacked Perez and hit her with an elbow drop for the victory. So the match was okay. It wasn't the smoothest match. It according to this on Pro Wrestling Net, credit to those guys for this whole review here. They said that the match was clunky, clunkier than they would have expected from those women involved. But on the bright side, Valkyria slapping Bayley to fire her up seems to be getting over. And yeah, it's true. And the crowd is reacting to that. It is a bit silly, but we've seen dumber things in WWE. This is better than where they were going with the Bayley stuff. Remember when she was first starting out with this a couple months ago, sitting in a room and we could somehow hear what's in her head? And we were thinking, hey, how the hell does this translate in person? It can't. So they came up with the slap. That was good. It's a great way when Bayley's down and she's lackluster in the match to give her, like Popeye's, giving Popeye his spinach. That's what it is. So fine. Alrighty. Cole and Graves then hyped the Kabuki Warriors versus Rio and Io. Rio. How about Rio? That's a cool mix. My brain mixed it. Happy accident. So Rhea and Io for the WWE Tag Team titles, and Maxine versus Becky Lynch for the Women's IC title. And, of course, as I said earlier, Braun Breaker taking on CM Punk for the world title, all on January 5th in Brooklyn. So big matches in Brooklyn. Big. I mean, that's a great way to start off the new year for WWE, rolling right into WrestleMania season. So we have some Judgment Day stuff. As you know, I don't care. I don't care. I'll say that every week. They are so boring. Yes, I'm saying the same speech every week. Is anyone even interested mildly in this group? Outside, okay, I love Liv. I love Dom. Roxanne's on the rise. She doesn't particularly interest me, but I think individually they got more to offer than they do as a group. This is a yawn fest. So I'm moving on. Yes, I'm disrespecting the group because the group is just a joke. They died a long time ago, and I guess no one told them. So Gunther comes out, and he's booed heavily. And he came in the ring and told the fans they shouldn't be mad at him. They should be mad at the guy who tapped out like a little, you know what. And that's when CM Punk comes out and mean-faced Gunther. And Gunther eventually laughed in his face. And he did the "you can't see me" hand gesture. And Gunther started to head towards the stage, but Rey Mysterio's music stopped him, and Rey approached Gunther and spoke to him, which led to Gunther laughing in his face before heading backstage. And that's when Rey came out for the main event. Gunther was also smiling as he walked backstage. AJ approached Gunther and said, "You just don't know when to shut up, do you?" And Gunther said, "I guess I don't," and then walked away. So they're clearly leading to an eventual attack on Gunther, whether it's by AJ Styles. Eventually, CM Punk versus Gunther for the world title is going to happen. But maybe AJ's the quick fall guy for the moment. I know he's with Dragon Lee and doing the title stuff with the tag team division, which is fine. But AJ versus Gunther is likely going to happen, as well as Gunther versus Ray. I mean, he's angering all the babyfaces for gloating about a victory, which, again, is kind of silly. He didn't. The thing is, again, he did what he was supposed to do. He beat John Cena. You should want to and try to win every match. If we're supposed to believe this world of pro wrestling, you should want to. And gloating about it, that's been done, millions of times, like in pro wrestling. When you win a match, you gloat about it, especially if you beat a really big name. You should gloat about it. You'd be a fool not to. It would be detrimental to your career. It would make no sense for the booking, all the rest. And he didn't do anything over the top. He made John Cena tap. He did. And I don't care that their tummies hurt because Gunther is gloating about it. So what? Gunther did what he was supposed to do. Made him tap. He didn't go over the top and attack him in his home and bloody him and try to break his neck or, try to attack one of his family members or anything. He just beat him straight up in a match. Fairly, I might add. No low blows, no objects, no ring, turnbuckles taken off. None of that. Nothing behind the referee's back. He just straight up beat him. So anyway, the babyfaces don't have much to stand on other than, no, I don't like when you continue to laugh about this. No, I don't like that. That makes me angry. That's essentially what the babyfaces are saying. I'm 100% on Gunther's side here. And I also appreciate that WWE is continuing to own this. They're not trying to hide from it. They're owning this. I appreciate that. Because you should. You don't have another option. You don't have another option. The other option would have been complete disaster of having Gunther be quiet about it, not saying much on the mic, just coming out and having matches every week and 50-50 booking. That'd be ridiculous. But here we are. So I like what they're doing so far. And you can kind of see the guys lining up that are going to eventually face Gunther. All right, then we get the main event here. Oh, I'm sorry. We get, I thought we had the main event. We got CM Punk and Rey Mysterio. Oh, it was a main event. I'm sorry. Rey Mysterio and Punk versus Bronson Reed and Austin Theory. And the match went 15 minutes with Bronson Reed and Austin Theory beating Punk and Rey Mysterio, as they should have. You're not going to have Austin Theory lose here in his first match back with a reset of his character, being front and center of controversy of who's the masked man and all the rest, even though everyone knew. You got to have Austin Theory win. And again, he did. Now the finish, we have Ray tag in and got Reed into position for a 619, but Theory tagged himself in and cut off Ray with a clothesline. Ray eventually hit Theory with a 619 and then dropped a dime on him and had him beat, but Reed pulled Ray to the floor and put him down. Punk went after Reed and hit him with a clothesline and sent both men tumbling to the timekeeper's area. In the ring, Ray went up top, but Theory crotched him on the top turnbuckle and then hit Ray with the stomp and pinned him. So good. There's some other, we'll get to the aftermatch stuff in a second, but Theory should have got the victory. He did with a Seth Rollins stomp. You're wondering too what they're setting up for upon Seth's return in a few months. What are they setting up for with Austin Theory stomping Rey Mysterio, just taking Seth's move? Why is he taking Seth's move? They haven't explained that. What's the motivation behind that? Why is Austin Theory using it? I don't have an issue with it. It's a great finish. But is there something leading to eventually when Seth returns, Austin Theory versus Seth, or like what? Or maybe not initially, but there's got to be some connection there as to why the stomp is being utilized by Austin Theory instead of his old finish. But again, it looks like Seth is coming back maybe March. It'd be, we can count out the Royal Rumble, unfortunately. I would love to see it too, but it looks like it's going to be probably March, right before WrestleMania. So that's good. I mean, his injury couldn't have been timed better. If you're going to do an injury, you make sure it's going to be in time for Mania. Now that's, of course, assuming no setbacks, which hopefully there's not. All right, Braun Breaker then comes in and attacks Punk, and he eventually gets a spear. I mean, that's it. That's fine. I mean, again, good show. Kind of a little bit of a average, I'd say slightly above average, but I've seen in the past here, I mean, we've seen horrific holiday shows from WWE. Really bad. And under the Vince McMahon regime, and some of them were just throwaway, why even bother shows. So when I put it in that context, this was actually a pretty decent show when we look at the typical bar set for WWE holiday shows. But all right. So that pretty much covered Raw. One thing, as I mentioned earlier, that I want to talk about, not really related to Raw, but just a general statement about WWE and its talent and the use of social media from talent and where we are generally with the culture and as far as the culture relating to the wrestlers and what they're trying to do with their fame or their attention on television and on social media. My thinking is, and this is also, I think you could apply this to any public position or public official that is in the limelight that gets a lot of attention. There, I think, are, and I haven't gone through the roster, but in today's day and age where, for better or worse, and you may not particularly prescribe to this belief, but I think generally the overarching theme is that we as a culture value social media, I think to a just detrimental level. But how many followers you have, how many likes you have is a very important thing when you're on social media. And when you get a little bit of attention outside of social media and you're able to bring that into social media, I think a lot of what is happening is people that are in public positions or on the public stage, whether it's an elected official, a sports star, a pro wrestler, what they're chasing is not necessarily being the best in their field. What they're chasing is being a social media influencer. And I'm not saying everybody. Let me just be clear. I'm not saying every wrestler is trying to do this. I'm not saying that they don't have any motivation to actually be a star or to carry the company and to be a professional wrestler and be champion. But with how much is being posted on social media by, especially, I got to call it out, the women. All right. The men, to some degree, too, are attention whores. But with the women, it's easier to post something on social media and get a ton of attention because your primary audience is men. It's men. Key demo, 18 to 40 is still your key demo. A vast majority of wrestling fans are men, which means all you got to do is post a half-naked picture of yourself and then put some inspirational quote up to try to disguise it as not attention-seeking, and it's not supposed to be sexual in nature, but it is, and we all know it is. And men will like it and comment on it, oh my God, and they'll break the internet, quote-unquote. And I think even Nikki Bella, you can go back and listen to her on her podcast a couple of weeks ago when the idea of having her sleeping with fans. Remember that controversy that someone accused her of sleeping with fans? She even admitted, not to the sleeping with fans, but admitted to that, when she feels bad or down about herself, she'll put little something up on social media to make herself feel better about her life, essentially. And, because she knows the kind of attention it'll get. And I think that in and of itself is an issue. But when we have wrestlers or we have anybody in public positions that are trying to be social media stars and not trying to be the best in their field, I think that's a problem because they're chasing the attention and not the profession. We can't read the minds of people. We'll never know truly what they're thinking, what their true motivations are, but we can only read their actions. And not that every post on social media is supposed to be going against the idea that they don't want to be there and they're just for the attention and the fame and the social media followers. But here's the kicker, the test. If you were to offer some of these men and women on the roster from NXT developmental on up, if you were to offer them 5 million, Twitter or Instagram followers, or they could become WWE champion, I have a sneaking suspicion that a lot of them would decide to go with the 5 million Instagram followers instantly, because we live in a culture where we value the number of people following us on our social media accounts. And your worth is somehow tied to the number of followers and likes you get from random people you've never met all over the world. I don't know how many, but if you were to give them truth serum and do it in a place where, obviously the company couldn't hear the real response, I bet you there would be a significant number that would trade what they're doing now and give it all up for an instant 5 million Instagram followers. And it's just the culture we're in. It's the culture we're in. And we're in an attention-seeking culture that, again, puts a lot of value, I think, on superficial things and people we've never met, and the opinions of people we've never met somehow are important, and they shouldn't be. Of course, unless you're WWE, then you should listen to your consumer as a whole. You should know what they want and what they're after. But I'm saying, like, if you're just an individual influencer or you're a public figure and you're chasing likes and you're worried about what people say online and you're putting pictures up that are just going to be attention seeking and for all the wrong reasons, but you'll pretend that it's because I'm just a big star, when in reality it's just because you're a male, you're promoting this to a primarily male demographic that is susceptible to the pictures you're putting up, and it, but we're all going to pretend that you're not, right? We all know who those people are that are attention seeking. I mean, maybe I'll come up with a list to start an argument with people in the audience because I'm sure, people are, who's he talking about? Rhea Ripley? Yeah, I'm sure. Well, that's a conversation for another day, but I just wanted to talk about overall. I think it's an issue. Yes, in pro wrestling, but also kind of everywhere. People are really uninterested in where they're at in the profession they're in. They're interested in just getting attention and being an influencer and having a ton of followers. Kind of a weird culture we're in. Nice way of putting it. So, all right, I'll stop there because I'm going off on a tangent again that has nothing to do with Raw. But if you guys want to follow us, you can do that on X. Speaking of attention, I am a bit of an attention whore. So if you want to give me that attention to satiate my ego, head on over to X and just search the WWE podcast. Hit that follow button. Give us a 5-star rating. Whatever you guys want to do, or you just think we suck, you can leave a rating on that too. That's really fine. I really have no I guess ambition against that. It's of course whatever you want to do, but that said, I hope everybody enjoys their Christmas. I will be back I'll be back Sunday for sure. Maybe even before then. I do have family in town that I haven't seen, and it's kind of a wacky week for all of us here. Obviously including you, I'm sure, with family and food and presents and everything else that goes with this time of year. Christmas Eve is tomorrow, Christmas Day. And then after that, we are officially entering the time, especially if you're a parent, where I really don't know what damn day it is. I have no clue. Like from here on out, with the work, you're kind of off, and then next week's New Year's and you're off. And then for those Stranger Things, by the way, Stranger Things, guys, Volume 2 comes out if you care about that. And then the finale, big time for Stranger Things fans. But it's a bizarre time where you don't know what day it is anymore. You don't know where you're at. You spent so much time and energy getting to this point. After this, it's like you don't know where you are. You're like, wait, what day is it again? That's where we're at. We're in the what day is it again part of the year. You don't really get yourself back and on track until like the week after New Year's. And even then it takes another week. So like by mid-January, you're like, all right, I think I got this now. So it's a weird time, but fun, exhausting. And I hope it's a good one for everyone listening. as we are approaching Christmas in just a day or two as you listen to this. And I hope it's a white Christmas wherever you are. For me, it's actually not. I'm up here in New York, and it's surprisingly not. We were supposed to, and then nothing happened today, so it's just a womp womp. But we'll see. Obviously, a long winter to go. I mean, winter just started. We've been getting snow for like 6 weeks now, so we've got another 4 months until we're out of this. It's horrific. It's horrific. I mean, it just I never get used to it. So, alrighty. Hope everyone enjoys the next day or two. I'm not going to say happy holidays because screw that. Merry Christmas, everybody, and we will talk later this week. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.